another thought on the dialogue between Joseph and we'll call her Mrs. Robinson over here. So before anything happens, he reminds her of the fact that your husband is the one that is above me, okay? And he made me to what I am. And in a Gadol B'Bayis says many. There's nobody greater in this house than me. And he didn't withhold anything from me, okay? I'm the second in command. Your husband gave me everything. He's number one, I'm number two. He didn't withhold back anything from me except for you, because you were his wife. So how can I engage in this activity? That would be a sin against God. So in the last year, we discussed that he said, and how can I engage it? Although it's a two-person activity, because he wanted to show that there is no such thing as we. Even though grammar, I should say, but how can we do this? Because if they would have relations, it would be a two-person activity. But he said, how can I do this? Because he wanted to show that there is no entity towards we. The simple explanation is because he's discussing himself. He's not discussing her. You want to stick around with people, go ahead and do it. That's not doing me. Just you're not going to do it with me. I can't do this. You do whatever you need to do. But that's a simple explanation. Okay, but getting back to this. So the Sforno, one of the classic Rishonim, tells us a fascinating thing. That when he says, how can I do this thing? What he meant was, the Shalem Ra Tachas Torah, to pay back bad instead of good. So, interesting. So before he says that I can't do this because you'd be sin against God, the first thing he says is that I can't do something which would be a lack of appreciation for what your husband did for me. Interesting idea. That's what I was saying. So when he told her that he can't do this, the first thing he said was, well, I can't do it because it would be very inappropriate. Your husband, look what he did for me. And then I would go ahead and do something like that to her, to him. That would be terrible. And also, by the way, it's a sin against God. So the first point I want to make is that you see from over here that was the first thing that he said was that it would be a lack of hakaras hatov, would be a lack of appreciation for all that Potiphar did for him. And also it's a sin against God. Because, to be worried about Bein Adam L'Makom, that might be on a higher level. But Pashut Bein Adam L'Chavero, Pashut to do something that should be not nice to your friend. After all what he did for you, that's something that she would be able to understand, seemingly. But to do something lofty, like about God, that she might not be able to understand. So the first thing he said was that it would be something which would be wrong against God. I just want to end off by making a point. The Chovos HaLevavos, the classic work, tells us that there are two reasons why a person has to have a hakaras hatov. A person has to have appreciation for what one does to another. Number one is, if he had a good heart, libo hativ lo. He had a good heart towards you. So if he has a good heart towards you, you have to have a good heart towards him. Does that apply over here? The reason why Joseph was appointed, thank you, to be a viceroy is not because Potiphar cared about him. It says in a verse explicitly why he did it. Because whatever Joseph touched turned to gold. So he wanted Joseph in his cabinet because he wants success in his country. Not because of Joseph, not because he had a good heart. Also, the reason why he wanted Joseph around is because he had some activities, if you know what I'm saying, that he wanted to engage in with him. He wanted Joseph around. He became, he appointed Joseph for sinister reasons, not because he cared about him. So what shaykhis? What does that have to do with hakaras hatov, showing appreciation for what he did for him when he had no good intentions? He didn't do anything for any good reasons. It was all for bad reasons. He didn't care about Joseph at all. So what's this photo talking about? That he has to have a hakaras hatov. He has to appreciate the good that he did for him. Because what good? I mean, it was good, but he didn't have good intentions. Chovos HaLevavos says the reason why you have to have hakaras hatov, appreciation for what one does to his friend, is because of a good heart. He didn't have a good heart. In fact, he had a bad heart. He was using him. Second reason the Chovos HaLevavos says is because if a person chooses this person to be the vehicle to help you out, there's a reason why. He must have some merit. And therefore, if he has some merit, he must be a good person to have the merit of helping out another Jew. It's a schos, it's a merit to help out another Jew. So if Yankel helps out Shimon, Yankel must have some merits. And that's another reason why Shimon has to help out Yankel. Does that apply over here? Does Potiphar have any merits? No, we just said before that Potiphar was a Russian, was a bad person. So what's Yosef talking about that has to have a Kohen Tov? So the Rosh Hashiva, Rav Hanoch Leibowitz from Chavetz Chaim, says, you see from here, very interesting idea, that although the main chiyuv of a Kohen Tov does not apply, because again, he didn't have the right reasons, he had bad reasons. But there is something called avak a Kohen Tov. Just like by Lashon Hara, there's evil speak, and then there's avak Lashon Hara, the dust of Lashon Hara, something which technically may not be, technically by the letter of the law Lashon Hara, evil speech, but it is prohibited because it's similar to it. So over here too, in a positive way, a Kohen Tov, the midah, the positive good midah, to show appreciation for others, although technically might not apply because the reasons don't apply, in the end of the day, did you benefit? If you benefit, you have to have a Kohen Tov. You have to show appreciation. Although Potiphar made Yosef to be his second in command for his own reasons, and some of them were sinister reasons, that might be technically why, but that has nothing to do with your obligation to show a Kohen Tov. Yosef had to show a Kohen Tov. Yosef had to show appreciation to Potiphar for what he did to him. He helped him out, although he might not have had the right reasons. But that's not the point. It's still, excuse me, avak, a Kohen Tov, the dust of a Kohen Tov. And that's a beautiful lesson that we learn out over here. The obligation to show appreciation to others for what they do for you, although technically, even if the reasons don't apply, that has nothing to do with you. If somebody benefits you, you say thank you, you show your appreciation. What his kavanah is, what his attention is, has nothing to do with what your obligation to show him a Kohen Tov is. What a beautiful lesson we learn out, the importance of a Kohen Tov showing appreciation towards others.